Salutations, homies. It's been a while, but kind of trying to treat the videos like Kendrick Lamar says, like a shooting star. Every once in a while, it pops up, but when it hits, it hits. So this video, it's kind of more back to the mindset on training and calisthenics, and an epiphany came across my smooth brain, and it was your body is exactly how it is by default. It is perfectly designed what it's been exposed to. I was working out with my homie Tag. Tag, for watching this, I hope your arms are suffering because we did 3 minutes nonstop of like jackknife pull-ups where our feet are on the ground, but we keep doing it. 3 minutes. I got 4. Had to show off. I am currently in pain. Like this I came. Anyways, but one thing I noticed was on my boy Tack, he was doing behind the neck pull-ups. He is freakishly good at behind the neck pull-ups. And I noticed one thing. His rear delts are freaking capped. What this made me realize is my homie Tack is his freaking fat ass shoulders. The reason his rear delts are so big is because he does behind the neck pull-ups. He says he could do like 20 or 30 straight. That got me thinking, maybe there's a correlation in between on how he does his pull-ups and how his shoulders are developed. It makes sense. Behind the neck rows or behind the neck, lap hold downs. I don't lift weights. But what made sense to me was that your body is the quickest form of self-reflection, or the quickest thing I can judge on your entire life's behavior. Whether you're skinny, whether you're muscular, whether you're fat, whatever you are, I can tell a lot about a person. Obviously, people are going to be like, don't judge a book by its cover. Shut up, that's what the cover's for. I'm looking at this person, and you can already tell very quickly if they have a large amount of discipline, diligence, perseverance, synonyms. But sorry if you hear the dog, just, you can tell a lot by a person on what they look like. It's not even like a negative thing. If you see someone who's not even like super jacked, just very in shape, versus someone who's shaped like a raspberry, you are typically going to maybe trust the in shape person, or we also have a bias towards people who look aesthetically pleasing, and that you would trust them to carry out things that are difficult, because if they can get themselves in shape, they could probably have the rest of their life in order most of the time. I, came to that conclusion. I was like, damn, your body is exactly what it should. If it is how it is, it's because that's what it's been exposed to the entire time. I met an ironworker, ironworker construction guy, heavy duty construction guy. Guy climbs buildings and shit, literally incredible. He has fat, like probably double my forearms, and his hands were huge. People don't think you can grow these ligaments. You can. You just got to expose them to the stimulus. That's why, like, most construction workers, they don't look like bodybuilders, but they are railing you in most physical based activities that aren't, gym specific. So when I arm wrestled him, we were like back to back. It was so fun. And I noticed, like, this guy, he doesn't really, like, train weights for real. He just does, like, plyometrics and fun stuff. But here he is, putting up buildings and shit. No duh, his hands look like that. So your body is representation of what it's been previously exposed to. Not saying you need to look a certain way or do a certain thing. What I'm saying is the power, what Goku says, the power comes from a need, not from a want. If you want your body to look a certain way, you need to put it through certain situations and circumstances to where your body can finally adapt and grow. You want big ass arms. Well, you need to be the person that needs big ass arms. For example, when you're lifting heavy ass weight or you're lugging heavy ass shit around. So in construction, if you want big ass forearms, the underweighted way to get them is to do construction, do warehouse work, because you build a different type of strength that you don't really get. The real way, it's kind of like, even if you don't want to do all that, you just train normally. the way to perceive training is to perceive it as like it is a situation where you have to get this rep or you have to move this weight. Because at work, they lift because they need to, not because they want to. And it's a very different level of psychology whenever you're training, because this not training, that's just 9 to 5. That's what we gotta do so we can eat. This person who's training in the gym, that's a privilege. You don't have to do that. But when you try to shift your mind into, I have to do this, or it needs to be done, or like kind of force it, it puts you in this spot where it's just like nothing can really get in your way. And I think that's what's helped me achieve a very good level of endurance and strength in calisthenics. For yesterday, for example, and take all this with a grain of salt. I'm not a coach or anything, but, I do love helping and teaching people do calisthenics. And when I was training my jackknife pull-ups, 4 minutes straight of pull-ups, that's 2 R&B songs. I don't know how good an R&B song can be when your arms are begging you to let go of the bar. And when I put myself in that mindset, though, where I had to like detach from the pain, let go of the pain, do not even think about the pain. Focus on getting the task done. And that's how I've had to approach other things in life when I was working. Like when I was working at an Amazon warehouse for 10 to 12 hours, or when I was welding at another warehouse for 10 to 12 hours. You don't have time to think. You have to get the job done so you can eat later. And in the gym, I kind of have that same mentality whenever it's for extreme moments. I never have that mentality 99% of the time. I only have that whenever I'm training like super intense and I'm trying to get a PR where it's just like I have to. So the whole point of this conversation is that sometimes in the aspects of training and in the mentality of it is you have to not look at it as this is not the safest advice as well, so be advised, I'm not professional, but it is the idea that you have to conquer what you actually believe is a normal thing or what you conceive as a thing that is possible for you. So most people, they can't even conceive themselves doing a handstand. They can't conceive themselves doing a muscle up, pull up, whatever it is. You have to kind of break through that natural threshold of what you believe is possible. And I was talking to one of my engineer buddies, and he says the same thing. He's like, there is a boost in power when you actually believe you can lift it. So that's kind of like my philosophy. Whatever your body looks like, it looks like that because that's what it's been dealing with. That's what it's been exposed to. That's how it should be. There's not going to be an amalgamation of how, it did this and it's going to give you the opposite results. No, it is how it is because that's what you put it through. That's what you've done to it. So whenever you're training at a super high level or you're trying to break through this idea of this is my current limit, you have to believe that nothing can stop if you push through it. If you can break that limit of what is actually possible, whether it is through thinking about doing it in your head, or maybe it's the daily practice of it, so that way every time you get into it, it's easier than the previous attempt. It could be you simply doing attempts before or after a workout. All of those little things, they basically take the impossible skill, we'll just say a handstand, they take the impossible skill and turn it into digestible bites. Same way you eat an elephant. You eat it one bite at a time, not all at once. Otherwise, it would be too overwhelming. So that's enough yap. I hope that makes sense. The power comes from a need, not from a want. Whatever your body looks like, that's just what you've been putting it through. And if you want to achieve whatever goal it is fitness-wise, you have to pursue it diligently and almost passionately, where it's just like you're almost greedy for more. And I'm very toxic almost when I'm teaching. Not toxic, but it's just there's a very big amount of like testosterone camaraderie where I say, do not be the best version of you. Just be the best, period. Like my homies who want to be great at calisthenics, like be the best possible. You want to be the one where you go into the room and everybody's like, shit, here's the calisthenic guy about to make us all look like crap. And I'm like, that's how you want to be if you want to be the best. But I hope that video helps. Hope it was at least enjoyable. I'll see you.